Hello, and thank you for listening to Texas History for Kids. I'm your host, Michelle Gallegos, an educator, writer, history nerd, and novice investigator. Each week on the show, we will learn about interesting parts of Texas history, from battles and historical figures to the odd and enchanted. Welcome back to Texas History for Kids. I'm your host, Michelle Gallegos, and today with me is
Zoe.
What artifact do we have today, Zoe?
A salt shaker. What does a salt shaker have to do with Texas or history?
Have you ever stared at a salt shaker and thought, where does this stuff actually come from?
No, but I love salt on my popcorn.
Today's episode isn't about using it for your snacks. It's about a place. A place full of salt.
I think it's time for
Zoe's big question.
Is there a place in Texas that is made entirely of salt?
You bet there is. So in this episode, you're going to learn 3 things. Why Grand Saline is called the salt capital of Texas, what's buried beneath the town and why it matters, and how a building made of salt keeps falling apart and keeps coming back. So let's shake things up a bit and let's get salty. We're headed to East Texas to a town called Grand Saline. This town sits inside the coastal plains region, one of Texas's 4 major geographic regions, by the way. It's known for its tall pine trees, thick forests, humid weather, and something a little unexpected. Buried beneath Grand Saline is a salt dome, a huge underground formation made entirely of salt that goes down over 20,000 feet. That's taller than 4 Mount Everests stacked on top of each other. How did it get there? Millions of years ago, this part of Texas was covered by ancient seas. So you'll have to listen to episode 1 for more information on that. When the water dried up, thick layers of salt were left behind. And over time, those layers got buried by rock and dirt, and pressure pushed the salt upward into a dome shape, kind of like a giant salty bubble under the earth. Even though East Texas looks like a green, leafy paradise on the surface, the real story is what's hidden underneath it. And guess what? The salt isn't just sitting there. It was mined by Morton Salt. You might know the company Morton Salt by its unique salt shaker that you can find in the stores. It's the brand with the little girl holding an umbrella, and it's sold all over the country. The salt on your fries, your popcorn, Zoe, and your baked potatoes might just be from Grand Saline, Texas. Now let's talk about a building that's made entirely of salt. No, really, an actual building made of salt bricks. Welcome to the Salt Palace Museum, the only building in America built from blocks of salt. Hey teachers, parents, kids, whoever is out there in the listening world, do you want to keep learning after this episode ends? If you're enjoying this story, you can dig even deeper at txhistory4kids.com, where I've got reading passages, activities, and even coloring pages, all tied to every episode. Perfect for classrooms, homework, homeschool, or just because you're curious. Now, back to the show. So, the first salt palace was built in 1936 to celebrate Texas's 100th birthday. But salt and rain don't exactly mix well. It's been rebuilt 3 times. Once in the 1960s, again in the next decade, the 1970s, and most recently in the 1990s. The current version uses sealed salt bricks to survive East Texas's humidity, but it still needs regular touch-ups. So here's an odd fact about the Salt Palace. Some visitors are known to lick the walls. And as a matter of fact, their website actually shows someone doing so. Although I don't recommend it for obvious reasons. So inside the Salt Palace, you'll find vintage mining gear like pickaxes and hand tools and drills that they used to create the Salt Palace. You'll also find old hard hats and safety suits and a core example which shows layers of ancient salt over the years. You'll also find historical photos of actual miners, salt wagons, and the original mine. And here's a little bit of a sweet bonus. Grand Saline's most famous resident is Chris Tomlin. You know him as a Grammy-winning Christian music artist. He was born there, and even though he sings all over the world, he got his start in this small, salty town of Grand Saline, Texas. So between the Salt Palace and its famous roots, Grand Saline truly sparks with history. Long before Grand Saline became a mining town, though, the land was used by Native American tribes like the Caddo, the Cherokee, and the Kickapoo. These tribes discovered the natural salt deposits in the region and used them also, although they may have used it for different reasons. They used it to preserve the meat and the fish by placing salt on top of it so it wouldn't rot. They used it to make medicine and salves to help heal their skin and their wounds. They used it to trade with other tribes in exchange for tools, goods, and food. This area became a major salt works, which is an important center for gathering and preparing salt. Native communities would collect salt crystals that had risen to the surface or dig shallow pits to extract what they needed. Once commercial mining began in the early 1900s, a whole new industry was born. So let's break down some of the salty jobs that it takes to make a salt mine actually run. Miners go underground to extract the salt. Then drillers bore deep holes into the salt dome. Then blasters come and carefully break salt apart for the removal process. Then haulers actually move it to the surface. Then there's the engineers that make sure everything is safe, and the inspectors and the testers all ensure that the salt is clean and pure. And salt has so many uses besides just seasoning your food. It's used in road salt to melt ice in cold states. It's used in water softeners in your home. It's used in agriculture and livestock feed. Cleaning products and chemicals also have salt. And finally, medical treatments like saline solution use salt. So from ancient tribes to modern day factories, salt has been helping humans survive, thrive, and even build weird little museums for thousands of years. All right, it's quiz time.
Ready to test your salty smarts? Let's go. Number 1. What does saline mean? A. Sour. B. Sweet. C. Salty.
The correct answer is C. Salty.
Question 2. What geographic region is Grand Saline located in? A. Mountains and basins. B. Great Plains. C. Coastal plains.
And the correct answer is C. Coastal plains. We're going to do one more question, Zoe. Are you ready to ask?
Yes, ma'am. Question 3. Which tribe used salt from this region? A. Caddo and Kickapoo. B. Comanche and Sioux. C. Apache and Navajo.
And the correct answer is A, the Caddo and the Kickapoo. So, is there a place in Texas made entirely of salt? Well, not entirely, but Grand Saline comes pretty close. With one of the largest underground salt domes in the world, a building made of salt bricks, and a history that stretches from Native American tribe routes to modern industrial jobs, it earns its title, the salt capital of Texas. So next time you reach for a salt shaker, just remember what seems like a simple sprinkle might have traveled up from the depths of Texas history. Thank you for listening to Texas History for Kids. Hit that subscribe button and follow the show, and more importantly, share it with others who might find it interesting too. And don't forget, the best Texas stories live just beyond the lessons in your classrooms, waiting for you to explore.
Stay curious.